Virginia. Just making sure I've hit all the right buttons. Looks like I have. Welcome to Virginia Bakes. Today we are going to make my granny's pecan pie with a few changes. I hope my family doesn't mind. These are changes I've been wanting to try every year when Thanksgiving comes around. I make the pie, and according to the directions that were passed down from Granny to Mom, and then written up in a family recipe document, and then following those instructions. And every year I'm like, I really should try this. I really should try that, and just some changes to sort of. Well, we'll talk about that. So I'm going to try those changes. I've made one yesterday. Since making it, I've added additional changes, so we're going to try those for the first time with today's pie and see what happens. Okay, we're going to kind of do this. I don't have a hair. All right, I think we're good. We're going to kind of do this a little bit out of order. And we're going to have a smidge of some downtime just for waiting on the steps. A lot of these steps are going to be optional. They were not included in Granny's pie and Mom's pie recipe instructions, and it still comes out lovely and nostalgic and delicious. So I will mention what changes and additional steps I've inserted that may or may not be necessary, strictly necessary, and you can decide for yourself. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to skip ahead to the filling part, and I want to get the butter melting so that it can be cooling down. So we need 75 grams of butter. That is what, a third of a cup, which is something like 5.6 something tablespoons. And then there's a line, but does the line match up with the, it has a 1/3 cup line there, but what if the wrapper is not centered on the stick? Then you never know. So you know how I'm gonna know? Is I'm gonna weigh out 75 grams exactly. And then I know. 36. 53. 66. What's this? Okay, perfect. All right, that rogue hair is chasing me around, and that's not good. So let me get it, and I'm double checking that this warming burner is actually on and warming. Yes, it is warm. So that is going. Okay, so then let's get started on the next step, which is our pie crust. So I put a link to my pie crust video, the all butter pie crust. So that's what I'm going to use. You can of course use any old pie crust recipe that is your favorite. Hi Amy, big risks on the, yeah I know. You just let me know what you think as I'm going. So you can use a store-bought pie crust, which is the kind that are rolled out and you put it in your own pie plate, or the kind already in a pie plate. That's totally fine. You can use your favorite pie crust recipe if you'd like, or you could use mine. I'm partial to mine, of course. All butter. A little bit of vinegar in there to help relax the gluten so it doesn't stretch and shrink during baking and all of that. So I made this yesterday. That recipe makes 2 9-inch pie crusts. So I used one on the pie for the finished product pie, and then this one here. Sometimes what I've done is I've made this as more like a deep dish pie and sort of doubled the filling, and then I've made the 2 pie crusts, but when I make the big batch I cut it into like 2/3 and 1/3, and I use the larger chunk to handle the larger sized pie plate, and then the smaller chunk to roll out and cut out, especially at Thanksgiving time, leaves, little shapes like I think I have some pumpkins. I think you can have one that's a squirrel, and you can decorate the edge of the pie. It's so cute. Butter needs to get back in there. We are not going to do all the fancy decorating today. I feel like this string was going to be long enough as it is, so we're just going to do a typical 9-inch pie. No decorations other than crimping the edge, and let the taste stand for itself. This pie crust is very cold, which is good. We want to keep the pie crust as cold as we can to keep the butter solid for as long as possible, so that it turns to steam in the oven and makes little flaky pockets in the dough, in our crust. Oh, look what I got, you guys. I got a 3-pack of actual pastry brushes we're gonna be using. Oh, I already pulled one out, and I have 2 sitting out. It was a pack of 3. I'm rolling in pastry brushes now after all that time of using my, which I still have it. Like I don't feel like I could throw it away. But my janky broken Betty Crocker pastry brush. Anyway, I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I never knew what the vinegar did. Yeah, so it relaxes the gluten. You don't want uptight gluten. It needs to relax you. Yeah, so it prevents, like, there's gonna be several things that we're gonna do to try to prevent the shrinking of the crust. By the way, if you are rolling out a crust for a 9-inch pie, I think the rule of thumb is a 13-inch disc here, so that's what I'm working on. There's not a 13-inch line. There's a 9-inch line, which I think is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Huh. Is that I don't know if these lines are, yeah, that's a 14-inch line. Okay. It's got to be a 9-inch circle, not just the size you would want for a 9-inch pie. So you got to go larger. So I'm going to go just halfway between the 12 and the 14, somewhere in there. Don't go anywhere. Don't roll off, please. Look at all those. Can you see the butter chunks in there? Love it. Okay. I think we're good. Now, one thing that I have not tried before, but King Arthur said to do it, and I am nothing if not a King Arthur fan, and will try to do as I'm told. Is they said to, because I just wanted to sort of see, like in terms of making changes to Granny's recipe, like what changes I might want to make. So the first one is blind baking the pie. And then so when I was just kind of like looking around at other recipes and how other people were doing pecan pies, King Arthur said to lightly grease your pie plate. Like, I don't know that I've ever greased the pie plate before. So we're gonna do that. Okay, I'm going to, let me put this out of the way. I meant to grab kitchen shears. I think we might need them. So to get this into the pie plate, you can roll it up onto the thingy thing. I'm drawing a blank on the word. Or I just fold it into fourths and then open it back up. Okay. And then we're we're just gonna lift and press into the sides. And then well, we'll talk about, should I have talked about it already? This is an old-fashioned, I'm saying an old-fashioned 9-inch pie plate because I purchased, well, I had pie plates and I'm like, no, these are too big. They're like more like deep dish, right? And so then I went to Target this morning to get what was labeled as a 9-inch pie plate with a lid. Like, oh, that will be handy. Just look, I don't know if you can tell, it's huge. There's no way these are both 9-inch. And I just think that we have, our pie plates have grown over the years. And so I was like, no, I need like a typical 9-inch. All right, so I'm gonna cut some of this excess off to sort of try to even out. Well, I have more gripes about the pie plate situation later, I'll tell you. Try to even out the pie crust edge before we fold it under and crimp it. Oh, who's here? Corvus, hello. Looks delicious already, thank you. Hope. Let's go, yes. Rolling pin, thank you, good gravy. Why couldn't I think of that? Okay, so then what we're going to do is fold all that excess under to give us a bunch of dough to work with for the crimping of the edge. My brain is not wanting to think of the proper words. The lip of this pie plate is very, that's a lot of dough right there. Let's cut some of that off. It's very narrow. So we're not going to be doing a super duper fancy. How does that feel? Does that feel even? There's probably some spots that have a little less dough than other spots. So, okay, so we're gonna get ready to crimp. I'm gonna be using my knuckles and fingertips. I'm just gonna, so you can do like a larger, how do I want to do this? I just want to do a nice small one because it's a smaller plate. So I'm lining up my thumb in the divot my index finger just created on the previous crimp, and I'm putting my index finger from the right hand between them to make a ruffle. I'm just gonna go around. So my fingers. Yesterday, the one I made yesterday, I used my knuckles, and I did kind of a larger pattern. And I think on this smaller plate, that the smaller pattern made more sense. Actually, I don't make a lot of pies, because I think the problem is I don't particularly care for fruity desserts. Definitely don't care for apples, I think we're all aware. So how many apple pies have I made in my life? Or fruit pies. Like, I'm not gonna just like be jonesing for a fruit pie. No. All right. Is it perfect? No. Am I happy with it? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back in, well, not back in, but we wanna chill this down and get the butter. It is soft to the touch, you can feel it smush. We wanna get that butter hardened again. So I'm gonna put that in the fridge for 10 or so minutes. Not really a good spot for it. That'll do. That'll do. Okay. So that's that step. Let me check on do I need these anymore? No, those can go away. This can go away. I'm not gonna try to, what am I gonna save that for? If there was people around to help me eat it, I would turn this into like some little, Granny would take the the leftovers, and oh my goodness, folding into quarters seems easier. It really is. I've done it both ways. I like the folding. Oh, they have. All my vintage Pyrex plates are about 1 inch deep. Yeah, so I think they've just gotten bigger, and we'll talk more about that. I have a pie plate that was Granny's mom. Grandma F, you do. Aww. I wish I had a pie plate from Grandma F. I know I have some pie plates in storage, but I didn't think I had time to figure that out this morning. So I just hit actually stopped at Salvation Army and found that Pyrex. Well, it's not Pyrex, it's Fire King. Hope you can tell me if Fire King is any better. I remember Grandma Effie's baking and the cake she always had with a bajillion layers and chocolate frosting. Heather was talking about that recently. And yeah, we need to figure that one out. French silk pie. Yeah, Mom used to make a really amazing French silk pie. Okay, back to this. Granny and Mom would have taken this leftover, rolled it out, sprinkled it with like cinnamon sugar, cut it into strips, and like made little sticks, cinnamon sugar pie dough sticks. But I'm not gonna do that today. Okay, gonna get this out of the way because we're done with it. Clean my hands. So while that's chilling, we're going to get our pecans going. So the chilling, I don't know why I'm yelling, my mic is with me, not over there. The chilling of the pie crust, I would say that's not optional. You definitely want to chill pie crusts before baking it to help get all the fats hardened again, so that they last a little longer in the oven. That's my girl, they are basically the same. So that's not an optional step in my opinion. That you really do need to do. This next step is technically optional, but I'm really excited about what it's gonna mean in the final pie. We are going to toast our pecans. So we need 112 grams of pecans. These are pecans from our lovely family friends, the Adamses up in Georgia. They have pecan farm. And I was down there this summer for a visit, and they sent us home with a bunch of pecans, and I've been saving them for holiday baking. So here we are. I can finally start using my good Georgia-grown pecans. All right, and I always chop, and since we have time, and I'm trying to fill the time of the chilling and the various other steps I'll be doing to the pie crust, I've always just chopped, my air quotes in the camera, pecans by hand. You can do, I have seen, and I have done it before, extra pecans that you keep them whole, and you kind of line the top in like concentric circles all the way around, and that's really pretty. But again, I was like, we need to maybe move it along, so I'm not doing that. You would want to do those in addition to this amount for the filling. So, and also you would still want to toast them. So you probably need at least another cup to be able to line the top. And I have done that before. I think there's a picture on my Instagram. If not, I'll post it. I'll find it and post it. She had a special baking pan that was maybe 8 by 16 with a bump in the middle that turned it into 2 8 by 8s. Oh, so it still would make it in like one solid piece, and then but you had a line so you knew where to cut to make it perfectly in half, or was it like 2 separate 8 by 8 wells in the pan? And was that Grandma Effie? I've seen that kind of pan before, like in, you know, antique shops and stuff. So the pie I made yesterday, we can talk about this now. The pie I made yesterday, I had bought last year a pie plate that was, you know, in my color scheme, because it's so important, as much as possible. It's like a cream colored, and then it has the green, the dark green. So you'll see it soon. And so I'm just doing my thing, not really thinking about, it doesn't, in my mind, looking at it, I'm like, this isn't a deep dish. I wouldn't have considered it a deep dish. I have a much larger, like Emile Henry pie plate that's bigger. So I was like, oh, I'll use the smaller pie plate. The layers are very short. I've seen, you know what? We're gonna have some more kind of waiting time. There's a book up here that I feel like I've seen that kind of a recipe in, and we can look through it and see. Yes, but it ended up with Mom. Okay. So I grabbed the pie pan in the right color, correct? So I do my thing with the pie. Let's see, we're gonna do a sprinkle of salt on here. With the pie crust, I put it in there, a 9-inch pie crust. So we're gonna sprinkle this with salt, and we're going, I'm sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place. We're gonna sprinkle this with salt, done. We're gonna put this in a 325-degree oven for like 10 to 15 minutes. You should start smelling it, especially when you open the oven and check it 10 minutes. You'll smell the nice toasty pecan smells. And we don't want to go higher than 325 because of the oils, the nut oils in these, and I think it's pretty much consistent with all nuts, have like a low smoke point. So anything higher than 325, and you risk burning the oils, and then they won't be as tasty. So okay, into the oven for 10 minutes. I'm gonna check on my butter is melted. Yay! So let's set a timer. Let's put the butter somewhere to cool. Put it right here. This I'm gonna save and put the nuts in it when they come out of the oven. What's next? We can talk about what we're doing with the pie crust that's different. Now here's where it's different. So you could, if you wanted, after that's chilled for 10 or 15 minutes in the fridge, and you can tell that it's back to being like a hard crust and not a soft, malleable crust anymore. You could then put the filling in, put it in maybe do an egg wash, put it in the oven, and you're good to go. Especially in something like a glass pan, you can check and see that your bottom crust is fully cooked. I have found in the past few years of making this that I'm always having a soggy bottom. But I was following the directions and sticking to what Granny said and Mama said. So I was trying to be true to that. And then, but every year I'm like, no, next year I need to try blind baking the crust. Let's try blind baking. And I always forget, or I'll run out of time, like, oh, I'll just do it next year. So this is the year we're blind baking the crust. That's the extra steps we're doing. You don't have to. I feel like we'll see if yesterday's pie, if I can see a difference and if it's worth the difference. If the juice is worth the squeeze, as somebody in a corporate office once said to me. Shelling peas is when you saw it. Yeah, zipper peas. Those were good times. So the next step in the blind baking is we are going to get ready to line our pie as soon as it's chilled enough and fill it with some pie weights. So to line the pie, you could use like tin foil if you want. I'm going to use parchment paper, and the way I'm going to do this is crinkle and crush it up a couple different times, and it just helps to make it shapeable in the pie plate. You'll see. It's kind of noisy, sorry about that. Amy, you're going to a football game tonight? remind me who's playing? I haven't watched football in so long. I used to be a big Florida Gator. That's where I went to school, but got out of the habit and realized I was actually enjoying my weekends and not getting so riled up from the team losing or whatever, or not playing as well, or somebody getting injured or something. And then I realized I hadn't watched in a while, and I was kind of enjoying my weekends better. Nobody has time for a soggy bottom. No. Who wants a soggy bottom? I think the only time you want a soggy, well, there's times, like upside down, pineapple upside down, that's technically a soggy bottom, and then you turn it over. Now it's a soggy, juicy top. All right, let me check this pie crust. Can't imagine it's ready yet, but no, I do want to give it a couple more minutes. Back to the pie plate story. So I did the blind baking of the pie crust. I had it ready. I made the filling, and then I went to pour the filling into the blind baked pie crust, and it did not fill it. Like it's quite, you'll see, it's quite obviously not enough filling. So I was like, no, I thought this was a 9-inch pie plate, and so then I was like looking online last night, where can I go to get a pie plate, a 9-inch pie plate? I checked all the usual stores that I could go to in person. I checked their online, inventory or whatever to see. And so then I picked up this morning from Target this 9-inch glass pie plate with lid that I showed you. And did like curbside pickup so I could get going. Looked at it in the car and like, no, this is not. I was remembering by this point, seeing from when we were going through Mom's stuff, seeing pie plates and remembering like, these are small pie plates. Like this is not a normal pie plate. In my mind, I was thinking it was not normal, it was too small. But then I'm realizing, okay, this recipe is from back then. It's a kind of a vintagey recipe. And so it's probably made for one of those small pie plates. And this one from Target, even though it says 9-inch, it's just too big. I'm like, this is basically the size of what I used yesterday. So, and I was like, well, where's my best chance of quickly getting, without having to go get storage key from Heather, run out to storage, rummage through boxes to try to find a pie plate that I'm pretty sure I have out there from Granny or Grandma or somebody. So I went to Salvation Army and they had several options. So I got one of each, and one of them is also kind of too big. So I went with the smallest one. So we'll see how well it fills, the filling fills. University of Georgia versus Texas in Athens, Georgia. Okay. What are y'all ranked? Georgia's SEC, right? Are you spamming? Oh my gosh, you have a little crown. What does that mean? Crown number 1, is that because you say the most things? Hope's got a crown number 2. Seems like we can maybe have some sibling rivalry and sibling competition in here. So what I did this morning was I went back into the instructions and I added like a third to the I did a third because there's 3 eggs. So to add a half of the same amount of pie filling, you'd have to do 1.5 eggs, which doesn't make sense. And 2/3, like using 2 eggs and taking everything up by 2/3 felt like maybe too much. So I went with an additional 1/3 extra, since that's easily, the 3 eggs is easily divided by 3. So 1 egg, 1 additional egg, and then I did the math for the grams and struggled a little bit with the cups and such, adding, 2/3 cup sugar. Oh my gosh, I did that one wrong. I think I just went up to 1 cup, which is 1/3 of a cup, but that's half of the 2/3. See, this is why you should be weighing your ingredients. Like, I'm gonna have to fix that. Because otherwise I took 132 grams, I divided that by 3 and got that number and added it to the 132 grams. So that is 1 1/3 of the original recipe. I think what I did with the 2/3 cup sugar is I just added 1/3 and I made it a flat 1 cup, but that wouldn't be accurate. I did do that, and I didn't do the grams because I was like, oh, it's a cup of sugar. So therefore that's 198 grams because I know that by heart. So I need to go back and fix the sugar. I will fix it. So if you are seeing in the directions 1 cup of sugar for the increased filling amount, then that's wrong. It'll be less than a. No, wait, I think I did I can't remember now. Where can I see if I did it right? Oh, I know where I wrote it down. Hold on, let's see. I put it on this note. So I said 3/4 cup. I did do it right. Okay. 3/4 cup of sugar. The internet said that would be the closest to adding 1/3 of 2/3 to the 2/3. And so anyways, it's 176 grams of sugar. There's not really 1/3 of a teaspoon, so those I just went with an additional 1/4 teaspoon. Added the egg, additional weight for the dark corn syrup. The butter was a little interesting. I had to figure that one out. It came out to 7 tablespoons. Anyways, that is right. I think in my mind I thought I had done a flat 1 cup. I must have caught it earlier before I did that. Okay, just gonna go back in my pocket. So it is right. But this is just another example of why if you just weigh, it is so much easier to say, oh, I need to increase 312 grams of dark corn syrup by 1/3. You just 312 divided by 3, add 1 of that to the 312, and you're done. Instead of like, how much does 7 tablespoons of butter weigh? Or how many tablespoons are in a 1/3 of a cup of butter? Then you got to add 1/3 of that to the tablespoons, which is not even. Anyways, it's weird. It's just weird. What is, oh, it's my pecans. Why is it beeping at me? Okay, that smells amazing. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn the oven up now to 400 for the blind baking. I'm gonna put these to cool, and let's do this. Like if I get them off of the pan, then they'll cool faster. They're not just sitting around on a hot pan, so I'm gonna put them back in that plate. No pecan left behind. Hot. Hot. Okay. The toasting of the pecans is an additional step. Do you have to toast the pecans? No. Should you toast the pecans? I think we're gonna decide that we should. Smells so good. Okay. What was I saying? I found that multi-layered recipe on Southern Living. We should try it. It's called Southern Little Layer Cake, or a Smith cake. All right, this is exciting because I have 2 books that it might be in. Let me check the pie. We really like to get this going in the oven. Okay, I think we're good. Feels very solid. Okay, so quickly we will take our crumpled up shapeable parchment paper. You can also use tin foil if you'd like. Put that in there. I'm going to fill it with pie weights. You can also use dried beans. And I happen to have pie weights, which not enough pie weights to fill that bigger pie plate. Should have been my first clue, but I ended up having to go with beans yesterday, so it's just not enough pie weights. And definitely push them up to the side to help keep the sides from shrinking and sliding down the inside. Okay. Oh, we're not at 400 yet. Dang it. Okay, back in the fridge. This is yesterday's pie, but I don't want you to see it yet. So I'm gonna set it right there. It's in the way in the fridge. Pecan pie is something because it's technically a custard-based pie. You would want to keep it stored in the fridge. Bring one to Christmas. Okay. So, you're okay with the idea of toasting the pecans? I think we're gonna like it. Okay. So while we wait on some more steps, I'm just gonna have a little bit of downtime. This is a book that might give us some more information about that thin cake. So this is American Cake by Anne Byrne, and then this is Cheryl Day's Treasury of Southern Baking. So since this one is dedicated to cake, so you said you thought it was called Southern Little Layer Cake. Or Smith Cake. There's the dances. I can't with the contacts. Smith, Annie Smith, Smiley, Gloria, Smith Island Baking Co., Smith Island Cake. Looks like peanut butter option. 301. Let's see if that's it. Why do they have to be? I think this is it. I mean, this is a peanut butter version. There, sorry. Okay, all the tiny layers. Smith Island Cake, and then they have a chocolate peanut butter option. So if we're looking at, okay, hold on. Let me see if Cheryl Day has something like this. So Smith Island, you said a Smith cake. So, cakes, chocolate. There's like, maybe I'll check the little layer. It wasn't under Smith in here. Let me try. No, oven's not ready yet. Little layer cake. Little layer chocolate cake. Here we go. 169. Here. That one. Or this is the peanut butter version, but that one. Okay, so let's read about them. Let's see what. This old-timey cake, which is also known as prize cake, was created by Emma Rylander Lane of Alabama. She won first prize for this cake at the county fair in Columbus, Georgia at the turn of the 20th century. Lane cake is mentioned in the Southern classic novel To Kill a Mockingbird. It stirs up a rivalry between two of the neighborhood cake ladies. It's a moist white cake filled and frosted with a thick, cooked, whiskey-laced custard. Is that ringing any bells? What kind of frosting? So Smith Island Cake. In 2008, the Maryland legislature named not the crab cake, but the 10-layer chocolate fudge frosted Smith Island Cake as the state cake. It brought a good deal of attention to the Old Bear Island, located 10 miles offshore in Chesapeake Bay, settled in the 1600s by the English in the company of Captain John Smith. The island and its bounty of blue crab and oysters has been a fishing hub for generations. Pretty much Everyone on Smith's Island has something to do with fishing. In fact, Francis Kitching, hold on, because if you want to finish reading this, because we kind of have the time. But the oven's about to be ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my pie. Okay. So we're gonna bake this for 10 minutes. Then we're gonna pull it out, then do an egg wash. It's all according to the interwebs. We'll do the egg wash, put that back in for another 5 minutes to let the egg wash set. And then that is apparently the best, gives us the best chance of not having a soggy bottom in with our like massively wet, ooey gooey filling. So we'll find out. Okay, oh, where was I? In fact, Francis Kitching, the boarding house owner and author of the 1981 cookbook called Miss Kitching's Smith Island Cookbook, is said to have invented the Smith Island cake. I don't know. Emma Rylander Lane may have something to say about that. The cake resembles the stack cakes of Appalachia in construction. Stack cakes of Appalachia in the construction and appeal, thin layers, a good keeper, and it feeds a crowd. But most people will tell you this cake is all about the frosting, and in the newspaper interview years ago, Miss Kitching said she made her layers thin because her children like the frosting so much. I have slightly modified Miss Kitching's frosting to make it a little easier to pull together. A modern variation of this cake is to add finely chopped Reese's peanut butter cups between the layers, yet the crucial ingredient is the cake and the frosting. In the cake and frosting is the canned milk, a godsend to remote locations like Smith Island. So yeah, so if you call it a lane cake, so over here it's called a lane cake, little layer chocolate cake. Oh my goodness, y'all, I was reading the wrong thing. Lane cake is something else. It's got raisins in it. No thanks, let's go. Here's the page with the layer cake information. Let's see. This cake is a childhood memory for many Southerners. It's also as showy as it can get. With 12 delicate layers of yellow butter cake so thin they almost melt in your mouth, the layers are sandwiched in a warm boiled chocolate icing. That makes more sense. And then the entire cake is covered in more chocolate icing. The recipe calls for baking the layers individually rather than slicing bigger cakes into layers to ensure all of the layers are the same thickness. Do yourself a favor and buy 12 disposable aluminum foil pans to save time and stress, then bake 3 or 4 layers at a time. I don't know, that seems kind of slightly wasteful. So this comment here about a modern variation, no, I've modified slightly to make it a little easier to pull together, is probably in reference to the idea of a boiled chocolate icing. But I don't know, I think there's a north-south divide here about who invented it. But yeah, we could maybe try this sometime. Smith Island could be it, yeah. I love going through not old cookbooks, but just learning about old recipes and stuff. Okay, something else we can do while we're waiting for that to blind bake is Grandma Effie used a frosting. Do you have any recollection of whether she was boiling the frosting or not? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and whip the heavy cream, and we'll stick it in the fridge to hold. Instead of doing that at the end, we'll save some time and do it now. So I'm bouncing forward to the whipped cream. I'm just gonna I usually just eyeball this part. Some people whip their heavy whipping cream and they don't add any sweetener to it, and I like it to have sweetener, so I'm putting, what did I say? I think I need 227 of this. And then like a tablespoon of brown sugar. I think Mom used to put like a teaspoon or something of that. Grandma used frosting. That's it. The boiled. When you say that's it, are you talking about the boiling is it? I think what I was saying a moment ago, sorry, was that Mom used to put like a teaspoon of, or a tablespoon of whiskey. There's a note in the cookbook, something about throwing in a tablespoon of Richard, Charity's husband's, good whiskey, which is just scandalous, mother. All right, and then we're just gonna whisk. Have I done this by hand before? Yes, but I'm not doing it today. For some reason, I'm thinking it was 8 minutes per. I have vague memories of her boiling the frosting. We're gonna do that. I think we'll do it after the holidays, like in that long time between New Year's and Easter. We'll do some Valentine stuff, and then I think we can definitely throw that layer cake in here. Because Heather recently was commenting about that cake. She remembered the pie plates. So we are going to watch this just to make sure we don't turn it into butter. That's what would happen if you whip it too long, but it takes a while to get to that point, so I'm not too worried about it. Our pecans are pretty much cooled off. Get this out. This is not the right color, but it's a beautiful hot pad that my friend brought back from Africa one year for me. We're going to be pulling out the pie soon to give it a egg wash. So actually, let me get the egg wash ready. Just turn that off for a second. It's pretty loud. I always add brown sugar and vanilla extract for my pecan pie whipped cream. I thought about the vanilla. I could put some vanilla in here. It's not too late. It's never too late for vanilla. Strawberry juice in my strawberry shortcake whipped cream. That's smart. You can add a splash of milk to your egg wash or a splash of water to maybe thin it out a little bit, but I'm not doing it, by the way. By the way, if you're watching Henry and Reese, my wonderful nephews, hello from Aunt Jenny. My sister, their mom, sent a video last week of them watching during lunch and saying over and over again, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Like, because I think I explained, Hope was here last week, and we were explaining it's something that our sister Heather does when she's just not doing something anymore. And she really overpronounces the doing, and it's kind of funny. She's not doing it. Brown sugar butter is tasty. That's true. It would be delicious on some, make your own brown sugar, cinnamon, butter for like a sourdough, a loaf of sourdough, maybe that on there, or brioche. It's a sweeter enriched dough. Okay. What have we got? 2 minutes left? Less than 2 minutes? And then when we we'll do the egg wash. I did Google, do we need to prick the the dough as well, the bottom, after we take out the pie weights? And the interweb said it's not necessary, like that's what the pie weights are for. And then also, if you do that, even though I would think the egg wash would seal them up. Well, see, that's the thing, if you prick it, and then you put, to allow the steam to get out, and then you seal the pricks with the egg wash, then what's the point of having all the little holes in there? Plus, it's redundant because the pie weights are keeping it from from bubbling up in the middle or on the bottom. I've got this here to get the pie weights, the hot pie weights out. Okay. Very carefully removing these. I hope it's not so hot that it like cooks the egg. That'd be fun. So this egg wash on the bottom is going to create like a seal between the filling and the dough, and should, in theory, go towards preventing a soggy bottom. Now this is the step I didn't do with yesterday's pie, that afterwards I'm like, oh, I should have done an egg wash, what was I thinking? So you'll see it's not as glossy. Like the crust is not as glossy, but it's still pretty. It would be prettier if the filling had gone all the way to the top, but that's okay. Oh, we're getting off the... we're gonna put this back in for 5 minutes, just to get the egg wash to, I think we're okay. I was worried, it looks like maybe it did a smidge of shrinking over on this side, but I think we're okay. It shouldn't really shrink more than this now, I think. I don't feel like I bake pies enough to know. One of these days, I'm gonna have my good friend Joe, used to be my boss. He is a pie maker. He was taught, not a professional pie maker, although he did have a little pie making business for a while there, but he was taught by his grandmother all about pie baking, and he's very good at it, so I bet he would know all the ins and outs of egg washes and blind baking and such. Oh. All right, going back in the oven for 5. Okay. Oh, I also got new for the holidays. Is there kind of the right colors? It kind of goes with the green and the cream color. Okay, so we can finish our whipped cream. I love lots and lots of whipped cream on my pecan pie slice. This is going to be such a treat to have pecan pie I mean, it is kind of around Thanksgiving time, but it's not actually Thanksgiving. Let's see, do we maybe a smidge more. Yeah, okay. But it'll be very nice to have some pecan pie, like Thanksgiving pre-gaming. Okay, let's get this in the fridge. We have a little taste test. So simple. Okay, into the fridge. Keep this cool for later. What else can we do to fill the time? Because we got 3 more minutes on that, and we do want it to try to... This is where I'm confused. So all the instructions, I wasn't paying attention. one time at Mama's and ended up with brown sugar butter. Oh, bad. Sounds like a nightmare. So for the pie bake, the blind baking, instructions said to let it cool before you add the filling, but the filling's just going to get hot again. It's not a, it would make sense if we were doing like a French silk or like a pie filling that doesn't get cooked. Like you need the pie crust fully cooked and cooled all the way down before you put like a meringue, not a meringue, like a lemon meringue pie filling in it, or just any kind of pie filling that doesn't get cooked or baked. You would definitely want the pie crust to cool. So I don't understand, why do I need the pie crust to cool down before adding a filling that's going to be cooked? So let's look. Do I have to, no, I typed that very badly. Do I have to cool down a blind baked crust before adding filling and putting back in the oven? My only thought is that okay, some recipes require you to cool the crust completely, while others, especially those with a runny filling, call for adding the filling while the crust is still warm. Always check your specific recipe. Well, for a pie baked crust, you can fill it while it's still warm or at room temperature. Prevent a soggy bottom. Adding a warm filling to a warm crust can help prevent a soggy bottom in pies that are baked a second time. Yeah, we're not going to wait for it to cool. So that means we can get on with the filling, get on with the getting on. That's there. Better than Amy. Yeah, Amy put cilantro once in spaghetti sauce. It was very weird. Okay. For the filling, okay. Have we talked about everything that's different so far? We are blind baking the crust and we've toasted the pecans. That's all different from Granny's recipe, or Mom and Granny's recipe. So now, ignore the industrial, it's not really industrial, but the little orange scale is not strong enough to hold that bowl. Okay, so that's 5 minutes there. Let me get the pie out. We'll take a look at it real quick and see how our blind baking with the egg wash worked. It's very shiny, very pretty. So I'm happy with that. You can see it's kind of bubbly up in the middle, but that yesterday when that happened, they did just kind of, as it cooled down a bit, those went away. So I'm really not too worried about it. So I'm just gonna keep that over there till we get this filling made, and then we're good to go. Okay, so the other change that I've made is I always felt like the pie doesn't hold together well. Like, definitely you would need it to get good and set before you cut into it. If you cut into it while it's still kind of warm from the oven, it's just gonna go and make like a soup in the middle. So I thought, what's a good way to help prevent that? And so my method that I'm attempting, which when we cut into this other pie, we'll see if it worked, 132 grams of sugar, is to add some instant clear gel if you have it. It's just a starch, basically. I mean, I could probably just use cornstarch, but I happen to have it, so I'm like, I should use it. 132 sugar. But if you are going to use it, you want to add it now to the sugar and stir it up, because, and this is an instant, dang it, instant clear gel from King Arthur. It even says pie thickener, right? So got it, I should try using it. So the instructions on it say use 2 to 4 tablespoons mixed with the sugar called for in your recipe. I'm starting low because that felt like a lot, and also how much sugar is that referring to? I feel like I would like to know the ratio, like put a tablespoon of sugar for every cup of, or a tablespoon of thickener for every cup of sugar. That would make me feel better. But using 2 to 4 tablespoons, it feels like a big difference. Anyways, I'm going with a teaspoon, and this is optional, but if you do it, you're gonna wanna add it now to the sugar and stir that up, because if you were to just put a spoonful, and as soon as wet ingredients hit that chunk of spoonful, like that's just sitting there, it's going to solidify and be a big chunk of clear gel. So we don't want that. So we're gonna mix it really good into the sugar to prevent that. Now we need a cup of dark corn syrup. So these bottles are 2 cups, and they have like this easy measuring window with like a line marked for the cup. A cup should weigh 312 grams. I have a feeling I'm not gonna get there, only because there's gonna be so much sugar, syrup stuck to the sides. That isn't gonna make it into the bowl. Like, look at all that. Hold on, can I do this real quick? Look at all this syrup in here. That is not, like, I'd have to stand this thing on its upside down for a while to let it all drain to the bottom and get it out, but we don't have time for that. So I don't have any more dark corn syrup. It's hard to find. They don't really carry it in stores. You kind of have to, I think I ordered that last year online. I'm just gonna top it off with some, because that's only $2.88 and we need 312. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna just top it off with light corn syrup. And a lot of pecan pie recipes call for light corn syrup, so I think I'm not worried about it, but also if you have light, just use the light. You can't find the dark. Okay, that's enough. All right, then we need our melted and cooled butter. Is it cooled is the question. It is, perfect. Let me use, oh, look at this guy, came with those hot pads, or oven mitts. Let's see how it does as a spatula though. Okay. And then, oh, the 3 eggs. I think that's all the weighing I need to do. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set this on. Hello. Nope. Why? Thank you. I was gifted a second glass bowl from a wonderful family member by the name of Kendra. She had this sent to me. So not only did she bring her daughter over and made that giant cookie recipe video so much fun, she then gifted me another bowl. So thank you so much, Kendra. It's wonderful. Okay, then the eggs. Let's get this scale out of the way. Get my little egg cracking set up. Y'all know how I do. I need 3 eggs. They're at room temperature. Any shells? Good. I'm really interested to see how much this fills up the old school 9-inch pie plate. All right, and we're coming to like the last deviation from Granny's recipe, Mom and Granny's recipe. I'm calling it Granny's, like surely it started with her and then Mom just continued making it the way Granny made it, I would think. Okay, can go away. So many things can go away, get out of here. Then the final deviation is vanilla, which I think, Amy, sorry, I forgot to put vanilla in the whipped cream. I'm adding a teaspoon of vanilla. The recipe never had vanilla in it, which I just think is, I mean, it wasn't bad. I think we can maybe improve on it a smidge, and then a dash of salt. I did see a recipe where they sprinkled, like, kind of want to try it, sprinkled Maldon sea salt on top of the filling once it's in the pie crust. Like crystal salt, it's so pretty. Do like a salted caramel flavor in your pecan pie. I don't know. What do you think? Should I try it? What would sugar look like toasted on the edges of the egg wash? I did think about that. Oh. The reason I didn't do it was because of the blind baking. Like, how long can the sugar crystals be there before they start turning brown? So I don't know. I did. Oh, here was something I was going to show everybody to fill the time, and then I got distracted. Because of all the blind baking and then just wanting to make sure that we don't brown the crust too much, on this one, once I put it in to bake, I went ahead and just put this shield, pie crust shield on it. This is from, I can't read that logo, Mrs. Anderson brand? So I put this on there, and you'll see how brown it did get. It didn't burn or anything, but like, I feel like it might be a smidge too brown, possibly. So I'm definitely will be putting this on that guy the whole time, of course. So I was going to show like a way to make one of those from foil. Basically, you take, or how I do it is I take strips of foil, fold them up, and I'll take another one and kind of overlap them at the ends, and then you just sort of form it in a circle around the edge of the pie, and make your own pie shield. So like, let's imagine that's the pie. Then you just form it on the edge and just lay it gently on the pie crust edges. And now imagine that you did a full longer pieces and went all the way around. So that's how you can just make one. I've done that many times, and then I was gifted this pie shield a few years back. And it's delightful, although it does not fit on one of the pie plates that I have that is huge, that I was like, I'm not using that pie plate. I know that thing's too big for a single recipe. What I've done in the past is use it, and I've made double. I just flat out doubled the filling, and that fills it up really well. And we're going to put the pecans in and just give it a quick stir. So double fills up like this big old deep dish pie plates, but then it just takes forever to bake. So it's kind of annoying. It smells so good. Oh, we need to turn the oven down to 375. Sorry. 375. I think what I'm gonna do for those in my family who might be around at Christmas time, I'm gonna bake this one today, but I'm gonna let it cool down and then wrap it up real good and freeze it and save it for Christmas time, so that I don't have to make another one. Have to. Of course I don't mind. I love it. But instead of eating 2 pecan pies this next week, I'll just eat one. I'll share it. Anybody who would like some. Okay, here we go. Let me not burn myself. This is very slippery. I don't know if it's the pie plate itself, or these are slippery, something slippery. I was really worried about dropping that pie plate. Okay, moment of truth. See, that looks right. It looks like the right amount. Maybe a little too much. Nope, I'm happy with that. Hopefully it doesn't go over that edge and into the pie plate itself. That would be a little bit messy. Okay, into the oven. And do this. Actually, I'll put that in the oven in a minute. No, I'm gonna put it in now. So indecisive. Okay, so I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna give it 45 minutes and check it. We would want an internal temperature of 200 degrees. Now mom's, oh, I gotta put the pie shield on. Which is too big. So guess what? I've got to make a pie shield. That one's too big, but that's fine. We can make one. It got really dark suddenly. Do I go, that's what I'll do. I'm gonna do this to connect them. Give a little fold, another little fold. Then open that up. And fold this. I'll just connect it to that somehow, some way. Fold that again. Connect these. And then give it, scrunch it so it makes a curve. Okay, there's a homemade pie shield. So let me put this on there while it's in the oven and not burn myself. Hold on. Wish me luck. Nope. It's kind of a bummer. See, even like modern day pie shields are not made for those regular sized or old school sized pie plates. Okay, are you ready to see the one from yesterday? So this was, it feels like a reasonably sized pie plate, and see, it's the colors. How cute is that? Come on. But you can see how the difference in where that amount of filling came on here versus the one we just put in the oven. Oh, so my mom's instructions would say, certainly couldn't hurt, with sugar, let good toast on the edges. Oh, so my mom's instructions were that something along the lines of if you insert a knife halfway between the center and the edge, so in this vicinity, it should come out clean. I feel like I've overbaked many a pecan pie trying to get that to happen, especially when it's like deep dish. So I Googled it and we're looking for an internal temperature of 200. And that's where I got this one yesterday. Looking forward to trying it. Where's my, use this. Use this and this. And this. And whipped cream. And I am having a lunch of pecan pie. I still haven't eaten yet. Okay. I think I will end up taking a picture because, oh, the thing I didn't do with this is I didn't egg wash it. So you can see like the crust itself is, has like a matte finish. It's not gonna have that shiny egg wash finish. And I was like, did the King Arthur recipe call for it to be egg washed? And I just didn't think, like, did I miss it or what? Should I just be doing it automatically? And it did not call for it, and it's not a terrible thing. Like, it still is a very lovely pie crust, but I just prefer the look of the egg washed pie crust. Okay, here we go. Anyways, I'm gonna take a picture to replace the thumbnail with the other pie. All right, this is like, did the clear gel help? You hear that crunchy pie crust? That's a good sign. Oops. Oops. Yes, I think the clear gel, yeah, look at that. It came out like, normally there would be syrup down here. It would just be straight syrup in the bottom, which isn't the worst thing ever. And I was, you know, looking through this stuff yesterday, especially, I saw plenty of pictures of pecan pies, and they did still, you know, everybody kind of has a little bit of a syrup kind of pooling at the bottom. So it's not the worst thing ever, certainly, but I feel like I'm going to end up liking the idea of having the, let me try this, does this help? A little bit. The clear gel that's holding it together. Can we see the bottom? The fact that I can pick it up whole is pretty encouraging. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. There's room for extra whipped cream. Oh, that's so good. It's not so insanely different from Granny's pie that I think it's a different pie. Like, it's still Granny's pecan pie. The vanilla helps. Okay, when I say helps, it wasn't a problem without the vanilla. It wasn't a problem with pecans not being toasted. But I think these things have definitely helped elevate the pie. It's delicious. Look at that, I know, right? I'm gonna eat pecan pie for the week. Let me not invite Heather over so I can have it all to myself. All right. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. That one took a little while. We had a lot of extra steps. Review again. You can blind bake the pie or not, apparently. Toast the almonds or not. Instant clear gel or not. I think you would be fine either way. And then vanilla, why wouldn't you? Dark corn syrup, light corn syrup should be fine too. I think that's it. That's pecan pie. That's our family's new updated pecan pie from our family to yours. And so thank you for being here today. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen. If you try this, just, you know, comment, let me know how it came out for you and which changes you made. And if you had other methods that maybe you have been making pecan pies forever and you have methods to prevent soggy bottoms, I would love to hear them. What works for you. And yeah, please like the video. All my sisters, y'all better be liking this video. I better see. Did y'all click the like button? You gotta click it. It's not automatic. It doesn't tell me if you've clicked it or not. So I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. But everybody else, if you enjoyed this video at all, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can join us on future baking adventures. And click the like button would be great. And if you don't mind, leave some sort of a comment. Tell me about your family's like go-to family recipe for Thanksgiving. Like, do you have a pie? Do you do pecan pie? Pecan pie, pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? What's your go-to family that everybody always insists has to be there? And if nothing else, just hashtag just comment hashtag weigh your ingredients. I'm a big proponent of weighing ingredients. It makes things so much easier, especially adjusting recipes. Makes it so much easier, but there we go. So you think, okay, speaking of adjusting recipes, yeah, I think like 1/3 more filling should be fine. So for something like these more modern pie plates, like this one or the one that I got with the lid, which I think I'll be returning. How many pie plates does one person need? I feel like this one's much closer to this size. And I think that larger amount that I added to the bottom of the recipe, I think would be just right. So anyways, thanks for being with me today. If I don't see you before Thanksgiving, I do plan on doing one more video before Thanksgiving. It's another family recipe called carrot casserole. It is a side dish for Thanksgiving that we always have to have. So I'm going to do that one and show everybody that because it's not widely known. And yeah, but if I don't see you, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll look forward to seeing all of the holiday baking that I've got planned. Okay? All right, thanks everybody.